while I'm sad. You've been out all night, know you've been bad. Don't tell me different, know it's a lie. Come to me, honey, see how I cry.
Welcome to the Recovery Show, Bernie Z, that's me. Today we're going to talk about step 3. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of this power of our own understanding. Now, when we're referring to this power of our own understanding, we're going to back to step 2. We're building on that. So step 1 and 2 are very, very important. Step 3 is that next step in trying to get a foundation. So step 1 and 2, oftentimes 3. So the first 3 steps, that's the foundation. After that, it can get a little bit different in the way you go about it. But these first 3 steps are very, very important. Now that you've admitted that you can't, that there was a, now that you've come to the point where you've admitted you have a problem, that you can't handle it, then you look at the idea that there's a power greater than yourself that can help you return to a healthy way of living. It takes a decision. Are you going to allow yourself to get the help? The power of our own understanding. A lot of people say, well, it's the people in the group. It's the group support. It's the idea that we're not alone. And that's very key because we forget, boy, am I doing that. We forget that in every moment, as I put on an email post that I do, is a moment of recovery. And a moment of recovery, which is an email you can receive, helps you remember those key points and look at things in a little different perspective. But how hard is it to let go of the problems? How hard is it to realize that you have a problem with addiction and that it's an escape and that you can't do it alone? It's extremely hard. As a recovering compulsive gambler, even today there are times when I think, I could do this or I could do that. And I have to remind myself that in doing so, I change the group I'm in. I'm no longer in the group of people who have decades of sobriety if I slip. I'll be in a group of people who have decades of addiction in that same moment, or things of that nature. And that's really a hard thing to contend with, because I'd much rather be in that larger group of people that are clean. And I've come to the point where that's where my focus is, to remain clean, because it's part of something bigger. It's part of a larger group, which is the power of community. And that power of community is a power greater than the power of the self. Now, for me, it's also a matter of faith, because you can't see your entire community, but you also can't see God. And for me, God's important. I'm a Christian, and I focus a lot on the idea that I'm not alone. I do have a power higher than myself that can remind me, that helps me to keep my mind focused, that trains me in different things to do. And you think back to when you were starting out school, or when you were starting a new class, or anytime that you started something fresh, it's so hard to trust in someone that knows more than you, or that is further along than you, or that's part of something that you're a part of, but not trusting. It's hard to trust them to help you, because you think, for the longest time you thought, I can do it all alone, and now you're realizing you can't. And with with the idea of which group do you want to be in? Do you want to be in the group that has decades of clean time in each moment that you're at, or do you want to be in a group that has decades of addiction? Because in every moment, just like there's people out there to add to the time, to that moment that you're in clean time, there's also people out there who are in a moment of their addiction. And depending on whether you want to be a part of the larger group of people that have that recovery time, or whether you want to be part of the people that have their addiction, that's a power greater than yourself. Which power greater than yourself do I be? The one that's harmful to you, or the one that's helpful to you? And that's where we go with that. But I'd love to have your input on that and what you view as your higher power. For me, as I said, it's the community, but it's also my faith in God. It's been with me even through my addiction. Even when I was in my hardest and weakest points, it was there. He was there for me. So that's my talk for today. And hopefully you'll contact me and let me know what you think. Thanks.